Hi friends, it's Mari. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today I'm participating in the Honeybee Stamps Autumn Splendor YouTube hop, and I'm going to be creating this really sweet A2 size card here for you today using the adorable Hedgehogs Stamp and Coordinating die set. This set is so sweet. You can see there's a couple of different little hedgehog couples here, one with a pumpkin and a scarf. You can see that you can stamp out the backs of the images for possibly some interactive elements for your cards, and there's a bunch of different sentiments and other sweet little sort of like filler stamps, like the little hearts and leaves there. So sweet. I absolutely love that stamp set. And then of course, in true honeybee style, there's a coordinating die set that cuts out absolutely every one of those stamps in the stamp set, including the sentiments. So really sweet. And I had so much fun making with this really lovely set. I'm going to start off with my Honeybee Stamps Intense black ink. I'm going to stamp out the little hedgehogs with the scarf around them, and I'm going to stamp that onto some craft cardstock. Now, the reason why I chose craft is because I'm going to do some pencil crayon coloring here today, and I wanted to have some of the coloring work already done for me by stamping the image out on some colored cardstock. So that was the method to my madness of using the craft, and I'm going to start off here by coloring in the face of the left hedgehog here, and I wanted to use a little bit of a lighter color as my base and then add in some darker color in yellow as well, just to give a little bit of dimension and detail to this sweet little hedgehog. I'm also going to color in the little nose area. I'm going to use some brown tones for that area, but here you can just see now with the yellow, I've colored that light base, and now I'm going in with a darker color of yellow just around sort of like the bottom areas of that little face and the little front paws of the hedgehog that are over top of the scarf. I'm going to use some darker brown tones for the larger hedgehog fur area around the face, starting off with a mid-tone brown for the base on top of the craft, and then I'll go in with a darker brown for the darker or shaded elements. Now, I'm not really sure why I jumped around so much here with the coloring, but just try to bear with me. I guess it was just the mood that I was in when I was coloring these images on the day when I created this project. Back to the lighter color again. I'm going with that same lighter yellow base for the ears, and I'm going to go in with that same yellow that I used on the face for the lower portion of the ears. I'm using a 2-color combo here for the inside of the ears, a really light pink for the base, and then a darker pink for a little bit of shadow. I'm going to start off with that darker pink on the cheeks, kind of creating the tops of the cheek circle, and then making an entire little circle impression area with a lighter pink there to create the little cheek area. Now, the darkest brown that I'm using here, I'm going to use on the little sort of like prickly parts of the hedgehog, so to speak, the areas of the little triangles on the stamp. I'm going to color those in with a darker brown, and then using that same dark brown, I'm going to color in a little bit of shading area just at the edge where that darker meets the face of the hedgehog. Going in with that lightest brown tone to do a little bit of highlight, and then just kind of blending everything a little bit more with that mid-tone brown, and that is going to finish up the darker fur area. For the scarf, I wanted a combination of teal and orange stripes. So I'm starting off with a darker teal for the base, and then I'm going to use kind of like a mint green for the highlights. And I'm going to use a really different color of green from the teals, a darker kind of almost like a mossy green for the shadowing at the bottom, and then a mid-tone blue, kind of an aqua blue for the center area. I'm going to blend that all out, and then I'm going to go to the orange. The orange, I kind of use sort of like a yellowy orange color family here to do those stripes. Going in with a lighter color to start this time, and then adding in some of the darker shades to create a little bit of dimension. I do apologize, I don't know why I didn't choose a larger stripe of the orange to show you, to demo the colors that I used, but I'm hoping that you can get the gist of what I did here. Just using the darker colors at the bottom and the lighter colors at the top. And here you can see I finished off the orange area kind of with an orangey brown at the base. Now I like to stamp over top of my colored image when I do pencil coloring. And so I've put this back into my MISTI and stamped it again with that same black ink just to crisp up the lines. And now I'm going to go ahead and die cut that out. This is one of the new sets. I love this. This is the Sentiment Frames die set. Absolutely genius. I love this. And I'm going to use this frame here to frame in my hedgehogs on my card front. Now, what I did was I cut the frame out of some kind of copper shimmer cardstock. And I also cut that same frame out of white, and I'm going to use that inside portion of that's left when you die cut that out for the area behind my hedgehogs. And I'm going to use some Salvage Patina Distress Oxide ink to color that white cardstock. And I just like how the blended ink over the white cardstock just looks kind of a little bit more interesting and dimensional. I'm going to spritz it with my Distress Spritzer, and it just kind of looks like a interesting background as opposed to just a piece of cardstock. So now I'm going to start to put this together. I'm taking my brand new Sweet Stacks honey cut dies, fantastic die set. I've used 2 of the rectangles, I think the second and third in from the outside edge, largest rectangles. I've cut 1 rectangle from that copper shimmer cardstock again, and I cut another rectangle from the Autumn Afternoon patterned paper there that has the leaves on it. Beautiful, beautiful paper. I love that so much. I'm going to apply this copper shimmer paper to my white A2 size card base with some 3/4 inch foam tape, and that's just going to make that layer dimensional. I'm going to glue this next rectangle shape onto the copper, and this of course is that beautiful pattern paper with the leaves from the Autumn Afternoon paper pad. I'm going to apply that on with my Honeybee Stamps precision glue tube. And now I'm going to, I actually decided I wanted to add a little bit of detail to the outer edge of this Salvage Patina square. And this is just some Peacock Feathers Oxide ink. I'm just going to add a little bit of definition to the edges of that rectangle and just make it look just a little bit more interesting, I guess. And just add a little, just that little bit of depth to the edges of that paper. I'm going to apply that just by eyeballing it here with a little bit of double-sided adhesive. I wanted to add it with the double-sided adhesive in case I needed to move it. So that was the reason why I chose that adhesive for this portion. And there you can just see I will get that all stuck down. I put the frame over top, that of course the sentiment frame that I cut from the copper shimmer paper. And now I'm going to add the hedgehogs onto that area with a little bit of foam adhesive, just so that the hedgehogs are dimensional on the project. Now I did go ahead and stamp out one of the sentiments from the hedgehog set. I used a Sending Hedgehogs sentiment. I stamped it out with some black ink onto the craft again, and I've die cut that out with a coordinating die. And here you can see I'm applying it to my card with some foam adhesive. Again, these are some foam strips from 3L. And now I've also colored up, I stamped, colored, and die cut out some of those other small little images from the hedgehog set. These are 2 of the little leaves. I stamped each of them twice. And actually, I think those are 4 different leaf stamps from the set now that I'm thinking about it. And I stamped those out and colored them with the same color of color pencils and die cut those out. And now I've added them on as embellishments. I used some clear Wink of Stella shimmer pen to add shimmer to all of the images on the project. And now I'm taking some white gel pen and adding some polka dots to just the orange areas of the stripes on the scarf. And that's just going to add just another little bit of detail that I think looks so sweet. I'm going to add some little highlights to the cheeks of my sweet little hedgehogs here, just by adding a little white dot to the corners of each of the cheeks. And I'm going to take my black glaze gel pen and add some black glaze to the noses of the hedgehogs. This dries really dimensional and shiny, and it just adds that little bit of detail. Now I wanted to add some gold stickles as well to my project. I'm just going to add those to the leaves, and my project will be finished. Make sure that you leave a comment in the comment section below to be entered to win a Honeybee Stamps gift card. Make sure that you check out all of the different videos as part of the YouTube Hop today. The links to the videos and the products that I used are all in the description box below this video in the Show More section. So make sure that you check that out and that you have watched and liked and commented and subscribed and done all those great things. Just love how this card turned out. I think it's super, super sweet. The Autumn Splendor collection from Honeybee Stamps is absolutely stunning. And be sure that you hop over to the Honeybee shop to check out all of the great things in this collection. Thanks for joining us today, friends. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.